Hi, welcome to today's video. I'm going to be catching you up on a few bits and pieces today. So I've written myself up a little agenda or to-do list. I spotted Elle in the comment corner has done this on a few of her recent videos, and I think it'll be just the right thing to help kind of keep me on track. Particularly with me working across a few different books at the minute. I'm going to pop out this sheet of paper just so I've got it to refer to as we go along. So first things first, I guess, is looking at the filofax side of things, and you'll note if you've watched the last couple of weeks worth of videos, this red filofax is suddenly black, and that's because I kind of came to the conclusion that the red, as nice as it was, just wasn't quite me, and that I get on far better with a bit more like muted tones, a bit more, I suppose, a minimalist approach when it comes to these things. So I sold the red one. I've got that to post later on today, and I've swapped it out for this black one that I found on eBay. I'll catch you up on sort of the pages over the last few days since I last spoke to you, and any other changes as well. So for instance, I had like a wallet pocket at the front here, but what I was finding is that it was making this dashboard more difficult to see, so I've just popped that into the back there, and that's just made things a bit more visible, which is really nice because I feel like the black of the cover ties in so nicely with the orange of these pumpkins. Another new thing, just to show you as well before we look at the pages themselves, is this charm that I've made for the planner. I'll just pop it out quickly just to show you a little bit better detail. So we've got this bat charm at the end here, a few different coloured beads, and then my name in the middle here. Yeah, it's strange over the last few weeks, making sort of beaded jewellery, beaded charms and that sort of thing. There's been a few of us that have really got into that, and I'm not normally like very good at crafts. I'm not great with my hands, but this has been something that I can kind of do semi well, so it's been fun to do that and to experiment with that. So I just sort of flip to the different sections that I have within the filofax. Firstly, we've got the sort of checklist tracker pages. I've archived last week's already, just because I want to try and keep this as thin as I can, particularly because something I've spotted in the last few days is some of these bits and pieces at the back getting a bit curved, so I'm trying to thin this out a little bit. So yeah, last week's is archived, but we've got a few check boxes. I'm talking to you on a Wednesday, so we've got a few of those bits. I've got through a few chores this morning, so I'll be updating this in a little bit. We've also got the sort of health tracking side on the back here. I was out and about all day yesterday, so this is looking quite blank at the minute. I always find that I remind myself of things that I need to do as I'm filming, so that will be something for me to update in a little bit as well. And then we go to like my sort of scrappy pages, my to-do lists and stuff. So if I just really quickly flip back to, I think this is roughly where we were last time. So last week, my to-do list and stuff, I was using a stamp to mark the days. I try and be relatively consistent, like week in, week out, as to what tool I'm using, just so I have a little bit of cohesion. And I was using my Pilot Friction pen, and then the sort of cherry red, the deeper red Sarasa clip pen. I felt like a little bit of a change this week, so I switched to green. And the shade of green is very nice, but I do prefer the red. But part of the reason I moved to rings was to like play about with colour a bit more and experiment a bit more. So I want to use the things that I have. So while I'm not as keen on this green, and I've got a couple of other colours from that Sarasa vintage set, I want to use what I've got before I buy loads of new things that might catch my eye. A couple of stickers in here. This is a Marigo Suli one. This one is just from a cup of coffee I had a few days ago, so it says oat for the oat milk that I had. A bit of like brain drain thinking that I did while I was out a few days ago. This is a sticker I got from, I think it was Home Bargains. I went to a few of the sort of discount shops a few days ago to try and find Halloween stuff, and I got a sheet of Halloween stickers, so that's from that. We've got the sort of coffee stain sticker from Colour Cafe, and this is a Stamped and Sealed Co sticker. I've got a little scrappy bit of paper here. I had a note written at the top and I've just ripped it. This may well come in helpful just for a quick note, so I've just kept it in. We've got some lettering here. This is from a set of stickers that I got from the works a few weeks ago now. I had used a few of the gold letters here. I feel like even though I've got silver rings, the gold letters look a bit nicer than the silver ones, but the sheets were like £1 each, so I'm just happy to try stuff, see what works for me, that kind of thing. Here we've got a couple more stickers, a couple more bits of washi. I think this washi tape was originally from Paper Chase, so that's no longer going to be available. I think this is a Colour Cafe one. This is a Stamped and Sealed sticker, and so is the butterfly as well. And then we're on to today. So these letters are from Tiger, and I've got them just to the side of me as well, because towards the end I'll show you anything new, new purchases, new acquisitions. These are like a really nice sans serif font, which is good. This flower decoration is a Stamped and Sealed Co one, and then this appointment letter, this appointment sticker, I'm not too sure where that's from originally. I'll find the Etsy page and I'll link it below. And then that's my sort of to-do list for today. And then the other thing that I've sort of updated page-wise in here is in my collections section. I've added a couple more bits. And it's really nice having this collections section. It's also made me think about like, what information do I want with me all the time? What subjects do I come back to time and time again? And so on that note, I've created a page for my personal horoscope and the breakdown of my sun, moon and rising signs, and then a breakdown here of the different Sabbats during the year. So that's kind of according primarily to like Celtic pagan tradition, because that's my background, and my like genealogy, I guess you could say. And when the Sabbats roll around, I like to read about them in a fair bit of detail, think about different things that correspond, so different scents, different colours, different practices and that. But it's nice just to have a very like snippet, quick version as a memory jogger here. And that's that in the rings really. I've adjusted things a little bit. So I mentioned before I had one of these pockets at the beginning, and within that pocket I had this Yoshitomo Nara character. Because I've shifted that to the back here, I've just put the Yoshitomo Nara character behind the mesh, and it's nice because it's visible even though it's not at the very front anymore. And I've just got a couple of other bits of paper back here as well for blotting and that sort of thing. And I've just got a receipt in here from the post office for a shop order that I posted yesterday. The next thing that I was going to sort of show you is my pages from the A6 over the last few days as well. And you'll see sort of part way through this week I've adjusted my approach in here a little bit. I suppose the other thing just to show you, I can't remember if I showed you this last week, is I've started setting up a little bit for September, so that's kind of ready to go in here. Going to check this again because I know we've had a couple more plans made in this sort of first full week of September as well. So if I take you back to sort of like Tuesday time, I think this is where we were last time, the sort of 20th. So I can't remember if I mentioned it last week or not, might be repeating myself ever so slightly, but something I've started doing in these checkbox sections at the top is writing down the tarot card that I've pulled for that particular day and the meaning of it. So that's what I've got up here. On the left hand side I've got to-do lists, and then I've got my sort of Dear Diary entry from the evening time on the right hand side, and a bit of decoration, as you can see. The stickers that say to do are from Lethbridge Papers, and then I'll talk you through the other bits of decoration as we go. So this moon is Marigot Sulu, this plant is moerenkunst, this sort of stormy weather one is from Megan Rhiannon. We've had a bit of sort of stormy wet weather the last few days, so that made sense. This is a moerenkunst pumpkin, and this little ghost is from Bujo Cult. I met a cat that day who was very fluffy, so that fit there. We've got this haunted house from Bujo Cult, and then we've got a couple of stickers here with like a sparkly iridescent pattern. These are from Home Bargains, which is one of the UK discount shops. I stuck this quite big haunted house down and wrote my entry, and then I was like, oh, I've done a haunted house on 2 pages in a row, so it's repetitive a bit in a way, which I didn't really intend, but they look different enough from one another, and the palettes are quite different, that I don't think it's the end of the world. And then this is a Marigot Sulu sort of star. I finished a book, Entangled Life, so I've tacked that picture in here. That's my sort of little habit. And then on Saturday, my partner surprised me with a trip to go and see Spirit Away in the West End. So we had the day in London, and that means that really I had no to-do list as such, so that's basically covered up here. I've got my tarot card bit here, my entry, and then I printed off a couple of pictures from the day as well. I didn't take loads of photos just because it was quite a busy jam-packed day, but there's a couple there, which is good. And then that, you know, my same sort of format here. This sticker is from Megan Rhiannon. And then moving into this week, so going back a little bit, I had preempted my need to write a to-do list on the left-hand side quite far in advance. So I ran out of my to-do stickers and I put these today ones instead until about mid-September, I think they run to. But because it says the word today instead of to do, I thought to myself, well, actually, because I'm doing my to-do lists in the filofax now, you know, the last few days I've been sort of repeating myself with these to-do lists, and I thought, well, actually this is an opportunity to move away from that duplication now, because it just having the word today is essentially like, oh, I'm just starting my sentence with that word, which often my daily entries do anyway. So now my approach in here is my little tarot reading at the top, and then just writing straight across the page with my evening entry, which gives me a little bit more room to do that. But then it's also given me a bit of room to have some fun with like collaging and layering stickers and decoration, which is something that I did quite a lot when I was in the cousin last year, and I've been missing. So the little bit of decoration I've got here, got a couple of bits of washi. So this green washi is from Paper Chase back in the day. And then the sort of gingham here in the black, I picked these up from Typo yesterday. So I have them to the side here just to show you. They've got a range at the moment that's got a lot of this gingham that I quite like, and the tape was a nice way to sort of acquire something within that range without it being anything too bulky, like a pencil case or a notebook, because I absolutely don't need any of those sorts of things. This plant is a Stamped and Sealed Co. one, and this ghost is from Bones and Blankets. The star is from Megan Rhiannon, and then this cat sticker is from a pack, and I'll show you here, something I prepared earlier. I found this little pack of stickers which features a couple of cats and then a couple of dogs. I think these are like Shiba Inus, and I picked these up at the Japan Centre when I was in London. We were primarily looking at like food items in there, but they've got like a fair bit of really cute stationery as well. So I was trying not to go overboard, particularly knowing that, you know, the hobonichi store is opening in a few days and I didn't want to spend lots and lots in addition to my hobonichi spend. So I got this pack of stickers for like £1.50 and they're really sweet. So I've got that cat in here. So if you ever go to the Japan Centre, keep an eye out for those. And then just having a very quick look at sort of today's spread. The decoration I've got in here at the moment has actually come from some posts that I've got from an artist. They live in Belgium and I sent them some of my art and then they've sent me some of theirs as well. And this little Miffy sticker and this washi was on the envelope. So I really like kind of reusing and repurposing little bits of stationery when I can. And I'm liking this approach of just like, yeah, just writing across the page in like a traditional journal kind of approach. Yes, and I showed you the September setup in there as well, so that's the A6 at the minute. And then looking at like commonplace stuff, that's kind of the heading I'll give this, I think. So also when I was in London, I went to the London Graphic Centre and I didn't have an aim as such going in there. I did pick up a clear Midori cover ready for my hobonichi book for next year. I was going to order that anyway, so I thought, well, I'm in the neighbourhood, I'll pick it up. But then I also took the opportunity to have a look at the Traveller's Notebook stuff in person, and I ended up coming away with this Tokyo like special edition book. And when I first picked it up, it was very much like I was drawn to it like a magpie, and I really like this red foiling. But I didn't have a purpose for it in my head at the time I picked it up. Then through the day, so although I was out and about and doing other things, there was, you know, that nugget of my brain that was thinking about like, what would I use these for? And it occurred to me, actually, it's a good way to supplement the commonplace pages in these like bespoke Traveller's Notebook booklets that I've got from Megan. So I'll sort of show you the August pages, and I had some spare pages from July because I didn't fill out the entirety of the booklet, but then I ended up running out in August. So I used the spare pages from July and I've still run out again. So within this new Tokyo one, I'll just show you, I've done my key at the beginning here, and I've slightly adjusted this as well in light of the role that the rings is now playing. So I've now been able to break this up into more specific categories in terms of my different interests. I've done a little introduction here as well, and it's quite nice because I've got this book as part of a special occasion. I've been able to write a little bit about that. I've got this little Shiba Inu from that sticker set that I got from the Japan Centre. And then I've got a couple of commonplace entries here. So the first entry is me talking about and thinking about what I want to get from hobonichi when the new items come out on the 1st of September. And what's now really nice about this size is I'm able to stick in quite, you know, these quite big pictures and still have plenty of room to write. And then the next entry I've got in here is writing about the life of Lady Jane Grey, sort of a local figure to me, and she's been on my mind a bit, so I wrote about that. And then I've just got a short entry in here about Virgo season and things to bear in mind over the next few weeks, in accordance with that sort of horoscope stuff. So that's like my overflow book now. Now with that being said, I'll sort of catch you up on what I wrote in this August booklet. And to be honest, I've been feeling a bit weird about this sort of book. It's not necessarily a book that I'm using like all day through the day, and it's a bit redundant, to be honest. So it's just something that I'm kind of playing with, and what it has helped me realise, I really like the way quite a few of the different Hobonichi Weeks books look for next year. And I kept thinking to myself, like, what could I use it for? What could I use it for? Because realistically, you know, like how I'm sort of primarily working in these at the moment. Next year it's going to be the rings and an A5 book. I don't really have a need for a week's as well, and me sort of struggling to figure out what to do with the sort of first half of these booklets before getting to the Commonplace pages has helped solidify that and clarify that in my brain. So yeah, the calendar page I've not particularly updated. There's a few new bits that go in here, but this primarily duplicates the calendar that I got in the A6, so I don't really need to be doing that. I'm a little bit behind on the gratitude journal, not by a lot, but I'll come in here and look at this in a few days' time perhaps. And then I'll just show you the sort of week spreads from the last couple of weeks. So you'll have seen some of this last week. I added a little bit of decoration on top of what was already here. This is a moerenkunst sticker, I believe it is. So last week I decided to try sort of media tracking in here again. Last week I tried that, and I did it and it was fine, but it didn't make me feel anything. It felt more of a task, more of a chore, which I think is a sentiment I've expressed before in relation to that. So this week I changed again because I thought that I did have was using the week site kind of as a work slash creative journal. So what I mean by that is my primary work at the moment, my main income is as a full-time artist, but I'm also managing being, you know, recently diagnosed as autistic and having other sort of chronic health issues. So I thought it might be quite helpful for me to have a separate place where I write down, okay, what work stuff did I do today, what outstanding tasks have I got to do, kind of as an accountability thing to make sure that I am chipping away at stuff, but also maybe as a place for like inspiration, a bit of affirmation, because for example, sometimes if I'm doing something that is creative and crafty in a broad sense of the word, but it's not necessarily creating a product to then be sold, sometimes I'll be guilty about spending time in that way, when really it's all part of a broader process. So using these pages to document any creative stuff that I've been doing or thinking about, I thought would be maybe a useful way to use this space, and then potentially a useful way to use the weeks. And I think for the time being and potentially for the rest of this year, yes, that's helpful. But I think next year, realistically, I'm going to be able to capture anything along those lines that I want to within my A5. So this is a much more like minimal, simple looking layout at the moment, just because it's serving that more practical function. And then I'll just show you the last few Commonplace pages that I did within this book and the kind of excess pages. It's all looking a bit messy back here because I've just very loosely tacked it in with some washi tape. So I think this is roughly where we were last time. I'd had some notes I made about the some of the hobonichi releases. Got a quote in here about memory and journal keeping. The importance of analog tools here. Yeah, I think I may have actually covered these last time. We've got a review of a book I read, along with a stamped and sealed case sticker. Another review that I did. See, these pages are essentially loose. My review of Entangled Life with a Marigold Suli sticker of some oyster mushrooms, I think they are, so that fit that book nicely. And some quotes from Entangled Life as well. So it's not every time I read a book I mark any quotes that I want to later write down. It's not massively common that something will hit a chord with me in that way, but there were a few things within this book, so I tabbed those and then I wrote them down. And then this little mushroom here, this was on an envelope from an art order that I placed a few weeks ago, and it's quite nice as well. This particular quote is about reciprocal relationships between fungi and other and plant life, I was going to say other plant life, but strictly speaking, fungi aren't plants. So it's about those reciprocal relationships. So the fact that it says thank you above it, I feel like just fit that theme in a really nice way. Another quote down here, and then this is a guide about like sensory input to stimulate and calm. So that's a handy sort of autism reference for myself. So for the next few days, any commonplacing that I want to do, because I've finished up this August one now, will go in my lovely pretty Tokyo book. And then when September starts, I'll have the commonplace section in here, and if I use all that up, I go back to the Tokyo one. Some of the things that I write in my commonplace book are like time specific, like the horoscope things for instance, but a lot of the time it's notes on research papers, it's literary quotes and stuff. So the fact that it's going in an overflow book that I tap into at different months in the year, I don't think that's going to be a problem, because it doesn't need to be chronological for it to work for me. So just to show you very briefly kind of how I've set the commonplace book up for September, I've rejigged my key like I mentioned in that Tokyo book. So just to outline them quickly, the other thing actually I did is I changed the colour order, because I was finding that there were certain colours that I was getting through very quickly because I'm using them a lot. So I swapped things around now so that the colours that I use less frequently are now linked to the stickers and the topics that I write about the most. So I'm trying to like even out my stock, if that makes sense. So anyway, my key, I've got pink for reference, pale blue for media and my book reviews, red for copied text, this purpley blue for autism stuff, psychology, health. We've got green for planners and stationery. We've got orange for, and this is like a kind of a new category for me. I used to put this under like other, which then made it very confusing because my media and book stuff was also under other. So this is just going to make it easier to find stuff basically. So orange is mysteries, cryptids and the paranormal. And then I've got yellow for other. And the chances of me using that are probably quite slim, but stuff comes up in the moment. You know, it might be that I suddenly find myself like really interested in, I don't know, a new video game that comes out, or, well actually no, that would fall under media. Anyway, I'll leave that as is. And then I've got this heading hello, and what I'll do, maybe on like the 1st, 2nd or 3rd of September, is write a little introductory entry here about my intention for the next few pages. And yeah, that's ready to go. And just a little bit of decoration as well. So washi tape is from Paper Chase. This is a Yoshitomo Nara character. Essentially I printed a page of the characters out and cut them out. And then this little star is a Megan Rihanna one. And then I've done a bit of setup at the beginning. So this is just a UFO picture that I found on Tumblr. I've used my Dymo sticker to put the month on there. And here I've got the future log, and I'm using this as a way to like keep an eye out on media releases. So I've got a little table here, a key rather. We've got books, film, TV, music and games. And as you can see, I've got, you know, various little bits coming out through the month. These paper sort of sticker here is from Stamped and Sealed Co. And then this is a Marigo Suli one. So I thought those work quite nicely here because, you know, book releases are kind of a thing that I'm keeping an eye out for. Got this set up for September as well. And this, so you'll see the future log, October, November, December. The September one is the media sort of calendar for September. So for example, on the 6th, we've got the new Beetlejuice release. We've got a book publication date that I've actually been selected for to read the advanced reader copy. So that's almost like a deadline for me as well. I want to get it read and reviewed before the 12th. We've got a bit of washi here. This is Marigo Suli tape. I really like it. Like, it's not quite Halloween yet, but I've basically been in Halloween mode since like March, April. And then I've got a little tracker at the side for different media that I've engaged with, and I've used a Megan sticker here to you know, to indicate what I'm tracking is a media related subject. Got my TBR here. So something I've done the last couple of months is to try and theme my TBR a little bit. So for example, during August, it's been around natural history. Last month, what was it last month? I can't remember for the life of me. Anyway, and I was going to save books about ghosts, paranormal, that kind of thing for October, but I've actually got quite a lot of books along that vein, that I want to read. So I'm going to start early. I'm going to use September and October for anything spooky, basically. So I've got that list here. The paper sticker underneath here is stamped and sealed coat, and then this is another Marigold Suli one. This book I borrowed from the library actually, and I need to renew that. It's funny the things that kind of spark your memory. And then I've got the weekly pages here, which I think I will probably use to log that like creative stuff, potentially, hopefully. I'm not 100% sure. I was thinking to myself the other day, you know, these booklets were very much about trying things, experimenting with things, and I am a natural completionist, but realistically, if I am just using the Commonplace pages and this first part of the books, it's made from recycled paper. I got them at a very affordable price. It's not the end of the world if I don't fill out these weekly spreads, so it may be that I end up leaving them. We'll see. So that's September, scene 2. And then last agenda point is just to show you any new bits and pieces that I've acquired in terms of stationery. So I've showed you this little bit of washi tape from Typo already. I mentioned to you about the sort of sparkly stickers from Home Bargains. I've already put them in my collection here, so it's going to maybe be a little bit awkward to try and show you them. It was a Halloween sheet, so they're all going to be in this sort of spooky section. I've got another suite here. I've got a cauldron here from that set. A couple of pumpkins here, quite a few actually. I've got some, and another one here. These two witches' brooms. It's like kind of Frankenstein zombie hands. These sacks. A tombstone there. I think that was it from there. That was just like, yeah, like a kid's decorative sheet, but I always find them quite fun. The bits from London that I showed you. This is the sheet from Tiger that I picked up yesterday. And then, not quite new as such, but the Works has started doing some sort of autumnal and Halloween bits and pieces. And I picked up a pack of paper from them with the intention of doing, you know, what I've done here. And I've made some dividers for the filofax with these different autumnal patterns on. So at the moment, I'll show you quickly, just in case you've not seen my previous videos. At the moment, I've got this watercolour card with some paintings on, and then a bit of washi as a tab here. And I really like these, and I think it looks great with the black cover. I'm not willing to move on from these at the moment, but maybe come September time, just for a bit of change, you know, I can always switch back to those. I've got these like ready to go, and same thing again, a bit of washi at the top, just to like have them as a tab to pull. So these papers are really pretty, looking forward to using those. And I think that's us caught up. I think we're all sorted for this week. Yeah, I think that's me. I was just trying to think if there's anything else to include to tell you about. So I hope you enjoyed that. I am close to 1,000 subscribers on here, which is absolutely mind-boggling to think about. So without getting too gushy about it, thank you very much for everybody that has subscribed to my channel. I'm not chasing numbers or anything like that, but like I got an email a few days ago being like, oh, you're this close. So that's really cool. If you know anyone that might like this channel, feel free to like recommend it or whatever, but I'm not going to push you to do anything. And thank you as well to people who like consistently like show up in the comments and we chat and things. I find that really lovely, and I get a lot out of this little community. I'm not the most social person, so chatting to people about books and planners and problem solving things, yeah, it's like a good source of fun and community for me. I'll leave it at that. Next week's video is going to be something that I filmed a couple of weeks ago. It's my birthday next week and my partner's birthday, so I'm probably not going to have a chance to film, so I've got that banked ready for you, and then I'll be back to like regular catch-ups and stuff the following week. So I'll see you soon. Bye bye.